Um, Hi there, guys. Hello to my subscribers. I haven't done a video for a long time, just because I've been doing a hell of a lot of writing. I've meant to get back to some people who've said some kind things and said, oh, they really want me to get back and do some videos, but to be honest, I think the WWE is kind of a waste of time in a lot of ways. I watched a bit of WrestleMania 30, and I think it's on the up. So maybe I might do some videos from now on. But to me, people don't understand from the perspective of somebody from an older generation who just looks, like going through the rock and wrestling era when wrestling was very, very relevant and the characters were just larger than life to, I did watch a lot of the In Your House era, again with some great spectacular wrestlers who are just like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, that kind of thing. And then, going on to the Attitude Era, which is arguably the greatest era of wrestling ever, with competition between the three companies. You had your Stone Cold, you had your Ross, you had your Goldberg, you had your Kurt Angle, um, and the list of legends just goes on. And then I kind of come to this era, and I kind of look at it and I'm like, it's just too scripted and it's not organic enough for me. So it's hard to keep up and keep doing videos on something I just really, don't actually care too much for. Even my favorite wrestlers now, say Daniel Bryan or CM Punk, to me they just don't compare to someone like Macho Man. Where's our Macho Man of the day? That's what I want to know. The greatest prospect I see is now in TNA, and that's Ethan Carter III. I thought, this is a guy who can probably do something interesting in the business, especially with that gimmick he had on what's this wrestling show? The gimmick he had on NXT with the USA guy. I thought that was a very, very interesting gimmick, and that could have worked very well and could have translated outside of the limits of wrestling. I think wrestling is too internal as well. It's like one of those things where um, you know, as a wrestling fan, I've usually been a wrestling fan where it's bigger than simply it's bigger than the confines of those who are just interested in wrestling. It's like everyone's excited about it, like everyone watched WrestleMania kind of thing, and that's what it was like back in the day. But some younger people really don't appreciate that. They think, that it's always just been like hardcore wrestling fans who were into wrestling. No, it was a global phenomenon. It was like a family event, especially, the rock and wrestling era. Even more so, I think, than the Attitude Era, when it was like all when the Attitude Era was like all me and my boys would get together to watch it. Like, and these are like from all, strays of life or whatever. It wasn't just like, and we'd get together and we'd watch the show, But in the rock and wrestling era, it was like literally me and my family would be sitting around watching WrestleMania. It would be a big event. A few families would get together, watch it on TV. We'd chip in to. Well, I don't think they had it on pay-per-view then, but I don't know. It was like on whoever had Sky Sports or whatever. And one of the most, I mean, one thing I want to say while I'm on this video, I think you all know the subject of the video from the title. But one thing I want to say is congratulations to Jake the Snake Roberts. One of my favorites of all time. Incredible icon of wrestling. Completely underrated. Congratulations to Razor Ramon, the bad guy. Always loved him. Wish he had have done more in the WWE. Didn't quite get to see enough of his NWO run at the time, but I've since gone back. To be honest, Razor Ramon was too cool for that. He didn't need them. I mean, it was a great little, you know, they were a great little team or whatever, faction, should I say. But to be honest, I don't think Razor Ramon needed them. I don't think Scott Hall needed them. I think he was really great up and coming star by himself at the time. But hey, you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles, you know. So really congratulations to them. Who else went into the Hall of Fame? Lita, yeah, my girl Lita. She was awesome back in the day, actually. Really awesome. So my girl Lita went in, and then was there anyone else I care to mention? No. Okay. So I wanted to get that out of the way, and good luck to Jake the Snake, and I hope whatever tumor he has is going into remission, and that he's able to deal with that and live a long, happy life from now on. His speech at the Hall of Fame was very moving to me, and something that really, you know, it was actually a great speech. I don't know if people noticed that. He's a very smart guy. And then there was a second very intelligent guy there as well, and that is the topic of the video, which is the Ultimate Warrior. Now, you guys know I did a video on him a while ago about the destruction, the self-destruction of the Ultimate Warrior, and how, in fact, it wasn't so much I wasn't a fan of him, I didn't appreciate him at the time. I saw him as a heel in a way. You know, I was a Hulkamaniac. He was the greatest foe of Hulk Hogan outside of Macho Man, in my honest opinion. The greatest ever foe of Hulk Hogan outside of Macho Man was the Ultimate Warrior. And watching it as a young lad, watching his promos, I used to think, wow, that's intense, that's crazy. But I used to take them in a slightly different way from when I saw it as an adult. You know, I remember it was at university. I had a friend who was a wrestling fan who showed me years later, when I wasn't even watching wrestling. It was just post the Attitude Era, and I was like, no, I'm not really feeling this that much anymore. And I'm at university doing loads and loads of work. But I came across a friend who was a wrestling fan, and we started talking about it. And he said, have you seen this crazy video? Do you remember the Ultimate Warrior's promos? I was like, yeah, kind of, but it was a bit weird or whatever. And then he showed me like this tape, and I think we were smoking ganja at the time. Both of us were smoking ganja, and he showed me the video, and he showed me that clip of the destruction of the Ultimate Warrior, where Chris Jericho and Edge and all of those guys are doing their Ultimate Warrior impressions, and we were just in hysterics, absolute hysterics for about we watched it like 5 or 6 times, you know, like each time rolling up and each or whatever, just smoking and drinking and watching the Ultimate Warrior, and that, you know, and that was what got me into the Ultimate Warrior again. It was this stupid DVD, the self-destruction of the Ultimate Warrior, and I was like, wow, I remember him now. Yeah, he was really cool, and I was always worried for Hulk Hogan. I was like, how is Hulk Hogan going to overcome the Warriors? And they had like this great match at WrestleMania. Fantastic match, one of the best matches in WrestleMania history. Then he goes on to have a fantastic match with the Macho Man. Not always the greatest worker, but when it came down to it, when it was important, Ultimate Warrior could pull off a great match. And I think if he didn't get blown up in the ring like so much that from the running and whatever, and he had a lot of like squash matches, but I think he was actually a good ring psychologist and a good storyteller, actually, funnily enough. I mean, maybe you could say that it was the other guys he took on. I think especially with the Macho Man match, he probably took lead in all what they did. But I mean, he told a great story, one of the greatest stories in wrestling history in the ring, in that match, with Macho Man. But now, and I don't know if I can call this even a tragedy. It's hard to say, because as much as I want to think of it as a tragedy, I also want to think of it as a celebration. First and foremost, condolences to the family, the two daughters of Jim Hellwig, or the Warrior, and the wife. I feel awful, after having such a great high and seeing their dad honoured in such a way, to have him taken away, hours, within hours of that event, is an awful thing. But from my perspective, and I hope from the fans' perspective, they can, one, learn something from this. These guys are, and from the WWE's perspective, actually, these guys aren't going to be here forever, and they've taken such risks on their body, put their body through so much stress and anxiety, to make a good show for us, and have brought WWE to heights that they would never have had without characters like the Ultimate Warrior. But let's, from now on, bury the fucking hatchet. Stop with the stupid politics, especially like now Triple H has kind of like taken reign of this thing, and get these legends back where they deserve to be. There's one person in particular I'm thinking of, which is Kurt Angle. For one, hope he lives a long life. Touch wood, and God forbid that anything were to happen to him. But when his contract ends with TNA, put him back on the stage where he belongs. Because you are not going to have talent like the Ultimate Warrior, like Macho Man, like Owen Hart. Who am I forgetting? I'm sorry if I'm forgetting anyone. Mr. Perfect. You are not going to have them forever. You put their bodies through hell, unnatural hell, and you are not going to have them forever. So take advantage while you can and treat them well. They are the reason for your business's success. Do not come out abusing, insulting, calling them B+ players, and all other manner of bullshit that has been going on. That is a disgrace. It's one thing to do a kayfabe, kind of thing like that, and I give Triple H some props in the fact that I actually think a lot of the stuff with Daniel Bryan was kind of planned in advance, or was a really, really knee-jerk reaction to CM Punk leaving. I'm not sure which, and I'm starting to think the CM Punk leaving was a work as well, by the way, just to enhance that whole story with Daniel Bryan, which is this so-called reality era of wrestling. So I'm starting to think that that's kind of part of it. But again, no more disrespect to these legends. I mean, You know, as I said, a kayfabe promo, yeah, cool, whatever. I think the second promo definitely was kayfabe, but I think the first promo was a bit. It was trying to like cut into some people, and you know, it's not fair on people like Jericho. It's not fair on people like RVD. You know, especially coming from someone like Triple H. But anyway, and he was one of the guys who was dissing the Ultimate Warrior on the self-destruction of the Ultimate Warrior. Oh, he was totally unprofessional, this, that, and the other. He was 20 times the superstar, 20 times the personality that Triple H has ever been, as far as I'm concerned. And you know, to be fair to Triple H, this gives me a new perspective on him as well. You know, I'm not just gonna kind of go launch into some assault on him, because actually he is an important part of the business. And yes, I hope he learns some things from this, but I also want to respect what he's done. You know, he's one of those people. You know, that I think actually, if he passed away, I'd be kind of sad. I'd be kind of like, you know, actually, I hated him so much. He was quite a good heel, you know, kind of thing. He did piss me off, you know. It's all these kind of stirring emotions that are coming. I mean, I didn't watch WrestleMania too much, but I did watch the Hall of Fame. I always watch the Hall of Fame, especially when guys like the legends, you know, the legends that need to go in. And that's what they did this year. That was a stacked class. Beautiful, wonderful class. I think possibly, I'm trying to think of a better class. I mean, that was just stacked top to bottom, you know, like Ultimate Warrior, Jake the Snake, Razor Ramon, Lita. These are like four of my favorite characters, you know, of all time. You can't go wrong with a class like that. And yeah, so that was the first lesson. I was saying, you know, let's bury the hatchet with these guys. These guys are legends. They're the reason the business is successful. Bury the hatchet. Get them where they belong. Do what is right. And they did what is right for Ultimate Warrior just in time, as you can see. And that is a very, very deep message to be learned. He did it just in the nick of time, by the looks of things. Maybe it was the excitement or whatever. We don't know too many details on the pathology report, but maybe it was the excitement of the event that led to, you know, his heart giving way. I don't know if it was his heart. Who knows what it is at the moment. But the fact of the matter is, he possibly may not have lasted the year if they hadn't have put him in this year, by the looks of things. So they did it in the nick of time. He went out a class act. I found it funny, his Hall of Fame speech. I think he could have cut it a bit shorter or whatever, but it was deep and it was cool, you know. And he didn't take too many shots at people, I don't think. And I'm glad they didn't cut it off, because I would have been majorly pissed off if they did that, even though I could think it was running on a slight bit too long. But it was great. It was a great speech. You know, he hit the nail on the head so many times during that speech, so I forgave him for it being over long. But even better was when he came on Raw the next night in character and once again showed what was so cool about the Warrior character. What was great about it, you know, is one thing, you know, dissing a guy for something that clearly he's not the best at, which was wrestling. But to diss the guy for his promos is absolutely absurd. It's absolutely absurd. They are one of the most memorable, iconic promos, which made him one of the most memorable, iconic characters. He talked people into the building. Full stop. It doesn't matter what the person said, as long as they did that, that must have been an effective promo. Simple as. And I like the Ultimate. I could watch the Ultimate Warrior promos, you know, and show people the Ultimate Warrior promos. I have not yet to show one person an Ultimate Warrior promo where they haven't cracked up, whether they like wrestling or don't like wrestling. They're just like, what did I just, you know, and that's good. That's not a bad thing for somebody to be able to do that, and to see how cerebral he is, and how loquacious and how intelligent he actually is in real life, how eloquent he is, just goes to show how good and how clever he was to create the Ultimate Warrior character. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't because the guy had his tassels too tight or whatever. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was creating a larger than life persona and character. And he did it. One of the greatest of all time. As simple as that. Another thing, guys, get that DVD, the 50 greatest, and throw it in the trash. You know, some people need to go in. Razor Ramon needs to go in. Ultimate Warrior needs to go in, and some other people need to go in. That is pathetic. They should redo that video. That video actually angers me. I'm not even joking. It makes me angry. And then, what else did I want to say? There was something else. I mean, I think I've said enough. I think I've said a lot in what I said. I haven't been doing videos usually, and that's how much this meant to me. I was thinking of doing a review of the Hall of Fame, but even that, you know, as important as that was to me, and I was like, thank you, Snake. But I wanted them to say thank you, Damien. You know, I was saying thank you, Warrior, along with everyone, you know. I was that close to actually buying a ticket and going. The only reason I didn't is because I want to be there. Well, no, you know, I was that close to buying a ticket. But anyway, yeah, I mean, so yeah, there's some lessons that need to be learned. Lessons, you know, treat your legends good, WWE, because nobody would be watching the show right now if it wasn't for them. In fact, I don't think there's any single transcendent character on that show that is bringing people in. The fact is, the brand that WWE is making people watch the show, not John Cena, not, you know, even Daniel Bryan. None of them are as transcendent as even Mr. Perfect, you know, or $1 Million Man. None of them are as iconic characters as that, in my opinion. And I'm not saying that as like some old fogey who just doesn't think that. I really, really believe that. I really believe in my heart of hearts the reason people are watching this show is because WWE has become a brand over time because of the story that it has been told by these great immortal legends. You know, and that's not taking anything away from these new guys. They still have time to develop and become something more. But to me, they're not. They don't even have a. I find Brooklyn Brawler more you know, iconic in some ways than a lot of these guys. Or more memorable just for the fact he lost all the time, and, you know. So treat them well. They're not going to be here forever. And Triple H, the politics have to stop, especially when it comes to the history of the WWE. The fans deserve the truth. The younger fans do not need a made-up, shaped history of the WWE, because you are robbing them. You are robbing them of so much entertainment that they deserve. You know, especially now WWE owns the rights to WCW and ECW. You know, again, someone that comes to mind is also, well, there's four Triple H DVDs, five maybe, DX. Every single DVD you see of WWE relating to any subject, the next one is going to be factions. Guess whose face is on the front? It's Triple H again. Triple H front and center of the DVD with his DX. And Shawn Michaels, of all people, is behind Triple H, as if Triple H was the guy in DX. But yeah, I don't want to hate on him too much because of the nature of this video, but that's what I'm saying. You know, you have to pay these guys respect, bring out the DVDs, proper DVDs relating to WCW's history, relating to ECW's history, people like the franchise, Shane Douglas, you know, like Taz, like RVD does have a good DVD actually from WWE, which is something. You know, guys like this, you know, you've got 5 or 6 bloody Triple H DVDs, and probably more are coming out. I don't know why. You know, why haven't they got one on the Ultimate Warrior like they have the Journey of the Rock, or the you know, the one on Macho Man Randy Savage, like they have the journey, like the Stone Cold Steve Austin's Journey or whatever. That's the kind of shit they should have, you know. That's standard procedure. You're talking about the Macho Man Randy Savage. I mean, I'm sorry to bring up all these things in a video about the Ultimate Warrior. Oh yeah, this is the last thing I was going to say. The Ultimate Warrior went in as he came out, you know, in a blaze of fire, you know. He's got them ropes, that's his favorite, and he's shaking them. That was him. He was intensity personified, and you know, to me, death is always tragic, but there are less tragic ways to go out than the way the Ultimate Warrior went out. And I think perhaps he's looking down at this thinking, well, I did everything I needed to do, you know. He set up his family, for life, he's inspired many, he's cracked me up. I mean, the one thing I want to thank Jim Hellwig for more than anything is just cracking me up. I mean, I've never laughed so hard at a promo. I'm talking The Rock, you know, Kurt Angle, you know, even Macho Man, you know, the funniest promo cutters ever, Stone Cold, whatever. No one has cracked me up like Jim Hellwig and then the Ultimate Warrior. So if I can thank him for anything, it's the laughter that he brought me, because that is a very, very important thing in life. And thank you for the memories. And yeah, for that to be the last thing he ever said to the WWE fans, I implore all of you to go back and watch that last promo he cut, to show you how he can go between that eloquence and the warrior character, and how clever and brilliant these WWE superstars and legends were, and how purposefully they tailored their characters. It wasn't an accident. The Warrior wasn't an accident. It was an idea by Jim Hellwig, and it says something that a character like that could be born out of giving these guys space and freedom to create something of their own rather than scripting, which is bullshit. why I hate the show. I can't stand it. I can't stand the promos. I can't stand anything. It's all, you know, it's scripted, and it's like they practically take each of these WWE superstars to elocution school so that they can learn to cut promos. I mean, what's that about? You know, get a guy, maybe try and hit him with one gimmick. If he doesn't like it, or if he's smart enough to come up with something else, let him try it. That's how characters like the Ultimate Warrior are born, and that's how memories are born in wrestling. Thank you very much. R.I.P. Ultimate Warrior. Rest in peace. I want to see this not as a sad moment, but as a celebration and as an example of what wrestling ought to be. Thank you.